Fans of Monk will already know that the titular character solves a bunch of baffling cases. But while all of the cases were good, some of them were more intriguing than others.
Or maybe worse.
Maybe a lot worse.
Welcome to The Rewind. These are Monk's best cases. Before we begin, make sure to give this video a like and hit that subscribe button for good luck. An assassination in New York City.
Don't forget why you're here, all right? You have a lead, a name. Finally, after all these years, you know?
In the Season 3 episode, Mr. Monk Takes Manhattan, the titular detective is forced to travel to one of the most crowded, and therefore messy cities in the world, in order to get more information about the death of his beloved wife. While there, he manages to cross paths with a Latvian ambassador who is quickly gunned down in the elevator of their hotel. Being who he is, Adrian Monk notices some things about the scene, like the fact that the bodyguards were shot first, the ambassador's coat was wet while everyone else's was dry, and most importantly, what the left ear of the assassin looked like as he fled past him in the lobby. After going a little bit crazy in the city that never sleeps, Monk manages to suss out the murderer and determines that foreign politics weren't at play at all in his motive.
Probably didn't even notice it had started to rain. It was you. You filthy, disgusting animal.
Dismantling the best alibi.
After this mission, I'm going to sit down and review my options. But I will say this, I will fully commit and I will win. Failure is not an option.
When the ex-lover of an astronaut with political ambitions dies by an apparent suicide just before her tell-all book is released, Monk thinks something fishy is happening in the Season 4 episode, Mr. Monk and the Astronaut. Unfortunately for Monk's hunch, the astronaut was literally in outer space at the time of the woman's death, giving him perhaps the greatest alibi in history. Undeterred, Monk spends the episode unraveling a very complicated murder plot with key details only a man of his intellect and observance could put together. In the end, Monk discovers that a murder from space is possible, provided a lot of planning takes place on the ground beforehand.
He dismantled the machine and moved her body into the other room. It was a perfect plan, except for one thing. The doll was missing. He must have panicked.
Blaming a coma patient.
To pay the bills.
Oh my God.
Don't open that.
The Season 2 episode, Mr. Monk and the Sleeping Suspect, opens with a man seemingly trying to get himself arrested by ramming into a police car on purpose. In the ensuing chase, the suspect is hit by a truck and ends up in a coma. Months later, a series of targeted bombing attacks start plaguing the city of San Francisco, with the Postal Service seemingly behind the delivery mechanism of the explosives. Monk gets on the case and quickly suspects the coma patient. Obviously, that's a tough sell to his friends in law enforcement. However, the detective is determined as ever and ends up enlisting the help of a dedicated mail carrier to figure out the coma patient's master plan.
What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a bomb. It's a bomb. Get down.
I can't help but wonder what made you think that was a bomb, Mr. Babbage.
Monk the Playboy. In the Season 2 episode, Mr. Monk Meets the Playboy, Adrian is forced to go into the seedy world of the glamour magazine Sapphire and its owner's illustrious party mansion to solve a very mysterious murder plot. When a man is crushed by his own weight during a workout with seemingly no one else around, Monk is forced to live every man's dream and his worst nightmare by going to the party palace to figure out who may have wanted that person dead. Thanks to some clever detective work and a desire to get away from the scene as quickly as possible, Monk deduces the murderer employed the use of a high-powered magnet that allowed him to not only commit the crime from afar, but to do so without leaving any evidence. Fortunately, his desire to cover up the crime left a trail that led Monk right to him.
I was here all night and all morning.
No, you weren't. He offered to make me Sapphire Girl of the Year if I lied and said that we were together that morning.
Stopping a murder spree.
Hey, what the hell was this? What happened? Hey! Tommy!
In the Season 2 episode, Mr. Monk and the 12th Man, 11 people end up dead at the hands of an unknown killer. The group is seemingly unrelated, and the killer seems to be striking at random, which would make him or her impossible to find. That's when Monk is brought on to see if he can find a connection between the murder victims. And sure enough, he does. It turns out they all served on a jury together, and one of the members of that jury discovered that the defendant was indeed guilty and decided to hatch a bribery scheme rather than bring him to justice. When the total cost of keeping it quiet was too great, the guilty party decided the only way to stop the unknown blackmailer was to simply kill off all the members who served on his jury, assuming that eventually he'd get the right one.
Can you prove that's my shirt?
No, sir, I can't. But I know someone who can.
When I fix this shirt for you, you don't complain, right? Because you're a good customer.
And that's gonna be it, folks. Was there anything that we missed? Before you leave, don't forget to give this video a like and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Check out these other videos right here at The Rewind, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss any of our future uploads.